Have you ever wanted to be part of the Upland live auctions but weren't able to get your property featured? Well, if that is you, then you're in luck because I am going to be doing weekly live auctions streamed right here on this channel every Saturday at 7 PM British summertime. This video is going to be all about how you can get involved either as a bidder or as a property lister. How's it going, everybody? This is Radishhead and welcome back to another episode of Upland Analysis. I am back after a short break, not by my own decision, but I was rather quite ill. Thank you everybody for wishing me well. I got some lovely messages on my Discord server, but I'm back now. And with my voice isn't 100% there, you'll probably hear, but it's getting there. And I really just want to get back into making videos, to be honest. I firstly want to thank my executive level channel member, Monopoly Mike. If anybody watching this wants to join the channel as a member and get some really cool perks, on desktop version of YouTube there should be a join button under the video. Check it out, there's some really cool things on there. So thank you for Monopoly Mike for being an executive level channel member. I also want to give a shout out to this video's sponsor, House of Spark. You'll remember that I showed everybody how to use their services last time. They've got a very clever automated Spark staking system. I was so impressed, I'm 100% going to use them again. This property right here in Century City, I built it up using House of Spark's services. I put it up for 50 UPIX per Spark hour. It filled up with Spark like immediately. And the whole house got built in like 2-3 days. It was amazing. It was all automated. The link for House of Spark is in the description if you are either wanting to build a house yourself or stake your Spark through their services and get some UPIX for your Spark. It's great. So thank you, House of Spark, for sponsoring this video. Right, let's talk about the auctions. So as I was saying, I'm going to aim to have these done weekly. We'll see how the demand is, but that is currently the plan. At the moment, these auctions are going to be properties only. So at the moment, no legits or block explorers, but I might expand out into that in the future. At the moment, just properties, and at the moment, just UPIX. So no dollars at the moment. That might change in the future, but at the moment, properties only, UPIX only. So if you've got some properties that you want to auction off, or if you want to be able to bid on them in order to get a great deal, this video is going to explain everything that you need to do before, during and after the auction in order to make the process go smoothly for everybody. So before the auction, everybody that wants to participate as a bidder or as a lister needs to join the Club Radish Discord server, because that is ultimately where the bidding is going to take place. There's a link for the Club Radish Discord server in the description. I'd love to see you there. So many of you have signed up already. It's so great to see. I'm going to just load up Club Radish right here so I can show you the next steps. You'll see on the left here we've got all of the Club Radish rooms. Now when you first join, you're going to be able to see auction rules, but you're not going to be able to see auction submissions or the auction room. That's because you need to complete this form right here. So if you go onto the auction rules channel, there's a little link here. You've got to click it and fill this out. And this is a very short Google Docs form. All it's going to ask of you is your Upland username and your Discord username, and that is mandatory for everybody participating in the auction, either as a bidder or as a property lister, because I need to make sure that everybody bidding is a legitimate Upland account. Otherwise somebody might pump up the price and it turns out they're not a real user and it's going to collapse the whole thing. So that's adding a little bit of control and making sure that the process is actually working as intended. If you want to be able to bid or list a property for auction, it's absolutely essential that you click this link here, fill out the Google form, and that will allow me to click on your name and change your role to being an auction participant. So I'll do that periodically. It won't be automatically updated when you fill out the form, but every day I just check the list of people who have filled out the form, and then I will give you the auction participant role, which will mean that you can check out the auction submissions room, which is for people who want to list their properties for auction, and the auction room itself, which is where people will be able to bid on the properties once the auction starts. If you want to list your properties for submission, you've got to go to the auction submissions page after you've completed this Google form. And let's have a look. This guy Raymond here, he's done the right thing, so we'll use him as an example of what to do. When you're in the auction submissions channel, you've got to fill out this information here. So first of all, the address of your property, then a description. Now, Raymond here, he's put in the mint price, the fact that there's an apartment building on it, and the collections. You don't have to do this specific structure, but you do have to put some kind of description, and I'd recommend that you put in anything interesting about the property. So anything notable about its location in real life. Does it have a structure on it? Is it in a collection? Is it a particularly large property? Whatever it is, give me a description, because that's ultimately the text that's going to be below the property, and that's what people are going to see when they're bidding on it. So put in as much detail as you can about that. You also need to put in the starting price, like Raymond has done here, and a reserve price. So sometimes you might want the reserve price to be a little bit higher than the start price if you want, to generate a little interest. Don't necessarily put your start and reserve prices super high if you want to sell them desperately, because there's no guarantee that you'll get any bids at all. So you have to think about it. People come to auctions because they want to grab something maybe cheaper than they could have done on the open market. Otherwise they would have just bought it on the open market. So if you want to get a property sold like today, maybe you don't want to have a reserve price at all. So it's completely up to you what we start the bidding on, completely up to you if there's a reserve price or not. And finally, please add an image, because my auction bot allows me to, well, actually it makes me add an image. So if you don't put an image, I'm going to add my own. And so yeah, if you want a nice flattering picture of your property, please add an image as part of your submission. So you put all of that information together, submit it in the auction submissions channel, and a few days before the auction I will have a scroll through this list and I will pick out some interesting properties that have been submitted. At the moment there isn't a massive number, so I should probably be able to include everybody who has submitted a property. In the future, if this really blows up, there might not be enough time to include everybody. In that situation, I'll try to include a nice mix of different players, but people who are channel members of the director and executive rank members will always have priority when it comes to me selecting properties to go for auction. If you are notified that you've been successfully selected, go ahead and advertise the Club Radish server, on the Uplands Discord. As long as you're following the rules, there's nothing stopping you from saying, hey, my property's going up for auction on Saturday, check out Club Radish. The more eyes that we can get on this server and the more auction participants, the more people will be potentially bidding on your property. So it's a win-win for everybody. Right, so that's everything that you need to do before the auction. What about during the auction? Okay, so the auction itself is going to be streamed live on YouTube on this channel at the specified time, which is 7 PM British summertime. So if you just want to sit back and watch the fun, all you've got to do is go on YouTube. But if you want to bid, then you've got to do that on the Club Radish Discord server. That's going to be happening in the auction room. So as I said before, in order to access the auction room and bid, you've got to have followed that Google Docs link and put in your information so that I can give you the auction participant role. Now, if you've done that, here's how the auction room works. I've got a clever auction bot, and I just type /create. I put in the time. Every auction is going to be 2 minutes long. The starting price is going to depend on, what people say. The reserve price is also going to depend on what people say. The increment value I will decide based on the value of the property. So this one's 400k. I'll put an increment value of 5,000 UPIX per bid. The description is going to be copied from what you guys place in the auction submissions page. So I'd copy and paste that, but let's just say test auction for the YouTube video. And then I've got to include a URL for the photo. So let me just use this picture here of a radish, copy the link, hopefully that'll work, and here we go. Right, the auction has started. You'll see that it says the current bid. There hasn't been a bid, so that means that if somebody clicks the button, they're bidding 400,000 UPIX. There's 2 minutes remaining on the clock, and that will drop soon. The reserve price is 450,000 and there's 5,000 increments. There's the description and there is the picture. So I'm going to bid 400,000 UPIX as the first bid. The auction bot has told me that I've bid 400,000 on the auction, and it's now saying current bid 400,000, increment 5,000, and the highest bidder is me, Radishhead. I'm going to bid again. There we go. So I get another pop-up. And this is where I like to scroll up a little bit because it's going to keep popping up with every bid. Now, if I start clicking, it's going to go 410, 415, 420. And obviously, I'm just bidding with myself here, but other people could get involved as well. And here is the interesting thing about my auction bot, is that when the timer drops to about 15 seconds, so I'm just going to sort of keep bidding. Here we go. In a few seconds, the auction's going to end. The problem is when it goes to about 30 seconds, it just keeps saying in a few seconds. There's nothing I can do about that. But as long as people keep bidding, the auction's never going to end. So you can't just snipe it at the end and then get it. As long as 2 people are bidding, and there's at least 15 seconds to go, the auction's going to keep going. So that's something which I requested specially about this. So let's just assume me and someone else, we're just bidding like mad. If I just click this here and drop to the bottom, you look, added 15 seconds to the auction time because of a bet near the end of the auction. If I do that again, it's going to add another 15 seconds on. Let's say everyone is exhausted. Highest bidder is Radishhead. The current bid is 485,000 UPIX. Let's just let that 15 seconds finalize, and that should, in a few seconds, there we go. So the final bid was 485,000 UPIX. The winner was Radishhead. That was the test auction, and that would be time for me to input the information for the next auction. And you will also get a private message from the auction bot if you're the winner, and it will just say you won the auction. It's always going to say auction number 1. I might get that changed, but it will tell you how much you won for it. So that is how the auctions work. After the auction, there's a few things that have to happen. Auction finishes. Bidder has 24 hours to send an offer to the seller. Once that offer's gone through, the seller has 24 hours to accept the offer. Then after the sale, the seller has 24 hours to pay me, Radishhead, the 3% commission. All of this information is in the auction rules channel. Sellers have to pay a 3% commission to Radishhead within 24 hours of selling your property. That is 3% of the number contained in the auction room, so don't worry about tax or anything like that. So if the final bid was 14,400 UPIX, it would be 3% of that. Just sends that to me via direct UPIX transfer, ideally, or if you can't do that, then we'll work out something with burner properties. So I hope that was helpful. I'd love to see as many people as possible sign up to Club Radish and then fill out the Google Docs form in order to become registered bidders. I want to see lots of people here next Saturday, the 9th of April, for the live stream. It's going to be fun. It will be great to see lots of people getting involved in that and showing that it doesn't just have to be the official Upland auctions to be successful. We can do it ourselves. Thank you to all the channel members for your support on the channel. These are the names of the people that you're seeing on the screen right now, and I want to give a special thank you to the executive level channel members Monopoly Mike and the director level channel member Tushar Singh. Thank you very much to both of you. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Please look forward to more coming soon in the future. It's good to be back. I'll see you next time.